Hey, what's going on, champs? I'm Aaron Deliosa. Welcome to an Immigrant's Life podcast, my podcast about immigrants, immigration, and everything in between. And just like that, we are on another week, meaning another episode of An Immigrant's Life. You know where to find me on Instagram, Facebook, at An Immigrant's Life. The podcast is available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts. And while you're there, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. All right? Cool. Now let's talk about this week's episode. One challenging aspect of immigration, especially for professionals that already have built their lives back in their home country, is to restart and find the same job, or at least a job that equals to their profession back home. And that's because employers, quote unquote, do not know you, or for them, you don't have any credible references. And that's pretty much what happened to our guest this week. However, instead of cowering down and quitting, he decided to fight back. And because of that, he achieved success. A quick note, this episode has been pre-recorded, and in the introduction, I've mentioned that the guest has 2 kids. But since recording this episode, him and his wife have since welcomed another child in their beautiful family. So I just want to clarify that and congratulate them as well. And with that, let me say, without further ado, let's get into the show. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Today our guest is one cool dad. He's a biker, an outdoorsman, and a proud father of 2. Everyone, please welcome RJ Germino Mapoy.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be on your channel. And yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for coming on the podcast, RJ.
you're welcome. It's an honor
Oh,
to
thank
have
you.
here.
You're too nice. You're too nice. Would you like to promote anything?
I have this YouTube channel with my kids. It's called RJM Kids Mansion 184, and also a Facebook page, the same name, RJM Kids Mapoy, RJM Kids Mansion 184. It's about my kids doing their stuff during quarantine times, all their adventures, all their artwork, all their drawings and stuff. So, yeah, it's just some fun stuff for kids.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I did some digging about you, and I saw that you build Gundams.
Yes, that's a hobby that I set aside for now because I don't have a space to do those uh, tiny robots. But yeah, I have a ton.
Yeah. How many?
Uh, Last count, I got around 50 unbuilt.
Whoa.
I would be happy if you would join me and build some.
I don't have the patience.
That's yeah, it's something, to pass time and to give you sense of creativity as well, and test your patience as well. Tiny bits. You miss one, you're done.
So you miss a part. Do you unbuild it or you just done? You can't do it
Yeah,
anymore.
build it and then salvage whatever you can on the other parts.
Oh wow.
Because I have some old Gundams that I am trying to rebuild because my kids destroyed it. they, 2 girls playing Gundam, they're just bashing it like playing with their dolls, with the Barbie.
Oh boy. That's not good. That's not good. So when did you start building them?
I started when I was stressed, like 2016. So 4 years ago. Oh, 4 years ago.
What
Yeah,
made you
something
start?
like that. Sorry?
What made you start?
Uh, I love anime to start. So I was watching anime, and then I started with IBO, Iron Blooded Orphans.
Mhm.
It's one of the series, and I really like it. So I decided, oh, and I saw a posting in Kijiji saying, oh, this is a cheap Gundam. So I bought it. Like it's a steal, you
You're
know.
hooked.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
But like I said, but it. I have to postpone it for a bit because I don't have a space for it.
Mm. The kids took over the house.
Yeah.
What are you
my
gonna do?
I, my space is in the basement, and it's my man cave. And all of a sudden, my wife decided, hey, I need a space for the kids to play. So goodbye, man cave.
So I invited you here to talk about your immigration story. So
Yeah.
we'll start with, where were you from originally?
I am originally from Nueva Ecija, Santa Rosa, Nueva Ecija, Philippines. And I started my journey 2010 when my when my mom visited Calgary here in Alberta,
Hmm.
2000, yeah, somewhere 2010. And then my my uncle's brother-in-law told my mom that there is an opening. It's called Alberta Immigration Nominee Program,
Hmm.
and it's a family stream. It only opened uh, 2010
Hmm.
for a brief period of time. So I'm really lucky
Oh.
to be able to arrive in Canada on
Hmm.
2011.
Wow, that's cool. But let's retract a little bit. I want to talk about your life in the Philippines a little bit.
Hmm.
So, your hometown, was it? Is it a small town?
Yeah, it's a small town. I live by the town proper, and it's a small municipality, class A, I believe. It's not a city, but it's not a small town feel. It's a bit congested because of traffic.
Mm-hmm. For sure, for sure. So, how was it growing up there?
It's good. Uh, Everything's accessible. I got my friends there. Because I have my friends, I got my relatives, I got my cousin, and I studied in Cabanatuan City.
Mm.
It's a nearby city. It's the capital where I also got my friends. So my network is huge, and I am all over the place. So you know, I,
Very friendly guy.
a bit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
you know,
So,
when
when
I
you were young, what did you do for fun in a small town like that?
go to the farm, in the fields, play with your friends. There's no gadgets, like you can't afford it. you know. So you have to play with your friends, your cousins. Climb trees, pick fruits, laugh at everything,
Mm-hmm,
anything under the sky, and just have fun.
mm-hmm. For
Get
sure.
bruises, you know,
Yeah.
parts of growing up.
Yeah. Yeah, those were the days, right?
Hmm.
So, high school days, how was your high school days?
Well, pretty serious. Like I didn't have a girlfriend from high school, so I started having girlfriends after graduation high school. So college.
So, after high school, you graduated. Did you go to a university in the Philippines?
Yeah, yeah, I did. After graduation, after high school, I went to Manila to study information technology.
Hmm.
So to school, I started with NIT. It's a school before. It's a TESDA accredited. Then I continued my degree in PCU, Philippine Christian University,
Hmm.
where I graduated a bachelor's degree in information technology.
Hmm. Why did you transfer?
Uh, it's done. Like after 2 years, you need to transfer to the university to complete the university degree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's
Uh,
it's like a step. You know, NIT is an associate, and then you have to finish it to get your bachelor's.
Oh, so they're sister schools.
That time, yes, they have an
Okay.
agreement.
So after college, what did you do?
I started to apply for an IT job. However, in the Philippines, it's hard to get a job that you graduated for. So you
Hmm.
have to get by whatever you can get. So my first job was an accounting clerk
Hmm.
in a motorcycle company, motorcycle dealer.
Mm-hmm. Is that in your hometown or in Manila?
It's in my hometown in Nueva Ecija.
Hmm.
I stayed there for 2 years, gradually making or paving my way up.
Hmm.
So I started as an accounting clerk, and then before resignation in 2009, I was the lead in lead what's this credit and collection manager. Oh no, credit and collection analyst.
Hmm. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, so I was stationed in Bulacan. The whole area of Bulacan, it's under my lead.
Wow.
And then I have, and then the good news that I can apply in Canada came, so I had to quit.
Oh, that's when you resignated.
Yep, start processing the papers. Uh, starting the paper, the process, processing the IELTS, all the necessary stuff
Hmm.
to get by. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, and then after I completed that, I went 2010. I started working again in Giordano.
Hmm.
So I was a management trainee back then. So it's you know folding clothes, and
Hmm.
I ended from field work going to store work or store or a mall work.
Hmm.
It's kind of hard. It's boring.
Yeah, just walking around. But let me just clear, because you were mentioning that you were going to Canada, and
Mhm.
then now you're working to Giordano. What happened between there? I don't understand.
Yeah. So I was processing the paper. I was a bum. Uh, yeah, I was a bum. So you know, just surviving on the last paycheck that I got. It's hard. So I decided processing the papers. Processing the papers. Uh, IELTS is costly.
Hmm.
It's costly in the Philippines, including the review. So it almost ended up my bank statement.
Wow.
So yeah,
Oh, okay. So who came to Canada first?
my mom.
She's the one who was sponsoring you?
Nope.
Oh.
She entered as a caregiver in Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't be sponsored by my mom because I was overage already.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was early 20s. Oh, yeah.
And when did you get to Canada?
April of 2011, I landed. First in my point of entry is in Vancouver. I stayed there for 1 week, and then my final destination is in Calgary, Alberta, where I
Why did
currently
you have to
reside.
stay 1 week?
Uh, my mom. I have to stay with my mom, of course.
Oh, okay. And then you have to go to Alberta because that's where you're gonna work.
I'm not gonna work. It's my final leg. I landed as an immigrant,
Oh, okay.
a permanent resident. So, yeah.
Who were you gonna stay in Alberta with?
My uncle who sponsored me. I stayed there for a couple of months.
Mm. And then after a couple of months, you went to meet your mom, or?
Nope. I moved to a different quadrant of the city, closer to work.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't drive back then.
Mhm.
And I arrived spring,
Mhm.
summer. It's by early fall. I moved to a different quadrant closer to work because it's
Mhm.
getting cold already, and you know Calgary is a different city back then. Transportation is so hard. If you're not driving, you're gonna be freezing to death.
Oh yeah. So you get to Canada, you're by yourself, really. I mean, you have family, but not much, right?
Yep.
How challenging were those early days?
It's a struggle. I'm telling you. Uh, let's go back to 2010
Hmm.
before I migrated. So I worked as in Giordano in 3 months for 3 months, and then I got bored because folding clothes in a mall. That's not my thing. So I applied for a bank, a startup company, a Japanese company, setting themselves up in the Philippines. So I was one of the pioneers, and since I was experienced, I always get stationed to different location where I, you know, just sitting pretty, relaxing, always in a hotel
Hmm.
because I, I have to set up a branch. So coming to Canada in 2011, it's a shock. You know, my first job was in Toyota
Hmm.
as a salesman, but I only stayed there for a couple of days.
Why?
Transportation is so hard. Like I said, back then, my uncle's house is only 5 minutes away if you drive. But if you commute or if you ride public transit, you have to go to downtown. And then from downtown, you have to go to downtown by a bus, and then from downtown you have to ride a train going to uh, the terminal, and then from there you have to ride a bus going to the airport, and then from the airport you have to walk.
How long is the ride?
The drive per
No, no, not
se, if
the
you're
ride, the drive, the commute.
the commute, it's approximately 1 hour and a half or two if you're unlucky.
Wow.
So yeah, so I have to quit because my uncle will drop me, and then after that, my uncle will pick me up, and it's not it's not good. You know,
Hmm.
I'm the person who doesn't uh, paano ba sabihin to? Hindi ako yung nangaabala.
Yeah, you don't like relying on people.
No, I don't like relying on people. Like,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. So after Toyota, where did you go?
After that, my uncle said, "Oh, okay, let's give it a rest. We'll find another." So again, my back then, they said palakasan system.
Hmm.
It's whom you know in Canada. It
Hmm.
existed here. So my uncle knows a HR in a washing facility, and I got a job. So it's a washing. So you have to sort laundry. It's a laundry facility, right?
Hmm.
So I was hired, but I only stayed there for 3 days.
You didn't like the job?
I didn't like the job. Why? Coming from I may sound proud or mayabang, but that's not my life,
Hmm.
right? That's not my life in the Philippines. I used to stay in the hotel. I used to be a boss,
Hmm.
and then that's the normal thing for new immigrants, right?
That's right. That's right.
Especially if you work already in the Philippines and you have established yourself already. I mean, I'm not even 30 when I get the lead position, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, so it's a struggle. I only stayed for 3 days. First, the commute. It's hard again. 'Cause the shift starts at 6,
Hmm.
and rush hour. You can always get a bus, or I can hitch a ride with my uncle.
Hmm.
But my shift was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's a struggle. So I didn't. Yeah, so I won't make it to work because it's too early, and the first bus going out of the community starts at 8. So that's 2 hours late already. You can feel the frustration there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a motorcycle in the Philippines, so transportation is not an issue. I can go wherever, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Canada, you have to wait for the bus. So yeah, that's the one factor that made me quit. Another thing is it's I was stationed in a hospital, and at first, yeah, okay, I can do this. The pay is good. Back then, it's $15 from the minimum $7-8, and yeah, it's good money, right? But the thing is, when I was picking the soil laundry and putting it in a bin, I I touched something wet.
Oh boy.
Ew, right? Knowing it's an hospital, it's a hospital. You know where I'm getting it, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm. You're not wearing gloves?
yeah, we wear gloves, but if it's wet, you feel it, even if you're wearing gloves, right?
Mm. And that made
And
you
then
quit?
it made me quit, yeah, big time, because I came in healthy, and now I'm gonna be touching some soil linen, plus I see some syringe without the needle
Ooh.
though, but still scary.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dangerous.
Yeah,
So you're going through all these struggles, and I'm pretty sure you're homesick too.
I am. I was, and I called my mom and I say, telling, this is not the life I want. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay in the Philippines. I'm earning well. I am good. So I told my I'm just gonna be, I'm just gonna be saving enough money to go home, start something new, because I might still have a job waiting for me, because my boss then offered me something in exchange to go into Canada. But silly me, I chose Canada because this is once in a lifetime opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to say no. So yeah. Anyway, fast forward. So I quit this job. I I stayed for a few weeks in my uncle's house. I got really bored. Like being by yourself, no friends, because I don't have friends. Like,
Yeah,
right?
that too. There's a struggle too.
Yeah, I don't have much friends. Back then, no smartphone yet. And I don't have a laptop with me, so no video call, no video
Hmm.
calls too. So yeah, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I I contacted my friend in my our friend, family friend in Vancouver, and she was working in a fast food, right?
Hmm.
And she said, okay, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna endorse you to this guy who's my friend, and he's a manager. He's a Filipino guy.
Mm.
Back then, there's lots of foreign workers in Canada, so in Calgary, sorry. And he introduced me. So it's a fast food, not the greatest job in the world. I didn't work in the fast food in the Philippines, so it's a struggle. But since there's lots of Filipinos there, I got to like it. You know,
Mm.
lots of Filipinos, same age.
Hmm. Yeah, you found friends. You found your people.
I found my people. I found my friends. So
Hmm.
and it started. That's it's good. I'm earning money, and after a few months, because I found some friends already, I know someone who worked in a warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy introduced me to the supervisor. I dropped by during my lunch break. I submitted my paperwork because I was stationed in the fast food in industrial area. That's why
Oh,
it's just
just around the
close
corner.
by. It's around the corner. Yeah, that's it. It was also the time that I moved out from my uncle's house, going to uh, New New Quadrant, closer to work, because commute back then was 2 hours and a half.
Mm. So,
Yeah.
were your uncle okay with that when you moved out?
Oh yeah, yeah. He understood because it was too far. So closer to work, it's only like 15 minutes bus drive. So yeah, I moved there. Then
Mm.
I as earlier I mentioned that I applied in a warehouse.
Mhm.
After after the interview, they offered me a job already. It's way bigger, two times the rate I was getting from McDonald's
Mhm.
back then. And yeah, I grabbed it. Then I saved enough money. I booked my flight going to the Philippines.
Mm.
I started my vacation,
Wait,
and it
you were working at the warehouse, and
warehouse
then
and McDonald's back then.
so you had two jobs,
Yes,
and then
because
you saved money to go visit the Philippines.
remember I told you that my mom told me to save up so that I can have something for me and start something.
Mm.
That's why I took two jobs
Mm.
to speed up the process, right? Anyway, so I went home. I went to Singapore first for a layover to meet my girlfriend then, now my wife,
Mm.
who she works in Singapore back then. And then I went to the Philippines. And I kid you not, it's a culture shock for me. Like right at the bat, like fuck. I'm using an analog phone,
Mm.
and you can even took it out. Scary.
Why? Because of the danger.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, being in Manila as a student, I've seen a lot of you know snatching,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then when I was working in a field, I saw a lot of motorcycle gang who just snatch your bag or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that time, there's lots of issues like the riding in tandem.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a scary shit. I kid you not. I don't feel safe on
Mm-hmm.
my own country. Like,
That's right. So for the listeners, riding in tandem is an issue in the Philippines. Is two guys on a motorcycle, one's driving and the other one will be, I don't know, just snatching cell phones or whatever else. And some of them actually assassinate people.
yep.
So that's what RJ is saying. So continue with your culture shock in your own country.
So yeah, I finished my term, my vacation, went back. I'm not gonna do it anymore. I won't going back to the Philippines anymore. Like, it's beautiful, but it's a beautiful country, but the citizens are not. Kid you not. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm proud to be Filipino, but hearing those corruption and everything, man, I just, I don't want to be.
Hmm. So you're glad you toughened it out in Canada.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hmm. So when you get back to Canada, you're still working for McDonald's and the warehouse?
No, I quit in McDonald's after a couple of months working again.
Hmm.
So because I'm earning money in good money in warehouse,
Okay.
so I was on top rate already. So I don't see the need to work double job
Hmm.
because the government's taking money, right?
Yeah.
Every cent you earn, the government gets a portion of it. So, I'm
Hmm.
not gonna do it anymore.
Hmm. So what were you doing in the warehouse? What was your job?
I was a order picker.
Mm.
It's a free gym. It's a free gym, like uh, lifting 25 pounds every day, multiple times of the day,
Mm.
will build your strength.
Mm-hmm. What kind of products were there?
I was working in a grocery warehouse, so
Mm.
all kinds of stuff.
Okay. So you were mentioning this earlier, and I want to ask you that. So you were in the Philippines. You're, as you said, quote unquote, the boss, and then you get to Canada and you're doing all this. They are decent jobs, but for you, it's not your level. How did you feel doing those jobs?
Well, like everybody else, at first you're gonna be frustrated. Uh, it takes time to adjust, right? So there's a lot of pace. The first pace you feel when you first landed, the first pace is you're overjoyed, you're overwhelmed,
Hmm.
right? You're happy. This is new. This is beautiful. Like everything seems colorful and vivid, right? The trees are different in color. You know what I mean? Like wow, right? There's a wow factor.
Mm-hmm.
After the wow factor, you start to feel like you are alone because you don't have friends, new environment, new
Mm-hmm.
struggles, right? And it's adjusting time. You, you feel frustrated, you feel sad, you feel depressed, anxiety. What's gonna happen? Because I can't find a job. I applied as a uh, I submitted lots of resume back then, and the only thing that they tell me, I can't hire you because you don't have Canadian experience.
Mm.
But how can you get a Canadian experience if nobody's hiring you, right?
It's catch 22.
Yeah. And then, okay, then some will entertain you. They will interview you and then they will say, oh, you are overqualified. What? You said when I applied for a managerial position, you told me I am underqualified. And then when I applied for entry level, you said I'm overqualified. What what are you trying to say, man? You have to, make up your mind.
Mm.
And then I submitted my work because they said you need to have a Canadian experience. So I heard that you need to volunteer.
Mm.
I went to one Filipino company. It's a lending company. That's my forte, credit and collection. Lending lending company in Canada. Wow, right? So I went there. I talked to the manager. I asked, can I volunteer here? Just a volunteer. Like if you want free. I just want to have an experience
Mm.
how things work in Canada, right? And then they said, nope, we don't do that. It's free, man. It's just volunteer work. You don't want free labor. I just want to, have. I just want to wet my feet,
Mm-hmm.
be on the game, right? But yeah, okay, then the hell. That's the start that you feel like you're frustrated. You get your frustration level is so high, your depression level is so high. You're not good enough. You're not even, it's hard to explain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that pace, you you will eventually come to an acceptance. This is my life. This is my life now, right? And you just have to suck it up. This is your life. Like what I told myself is I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for my children.
Mm.
So I have to suck it up and I have to embrace my new life in Canada, which I am thankfully embracing right now for the past 9.5 years, almost
Mm.
10.
That's nice. That's nice. So you mentioned you have two kids, and you also mentioned that your girlfriend used to work in Singapore.
Yeah.
When did she come to Canada?
We got married 2014,
Mm.
and then I petitioned her and my eldest because when we got married,
Oh.
I stayed there for 5 months, a long vacation. I know. And we she conceived with our firstborn.
Mm.
So yeah, I came back May 2014. So I started the process of processing them.
Mm-hmm.
So they arrived September 2015 after my eldest turned one.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Congratulations. That must be difficult bringing them here.
Yes, it is. Like, good thing there's Skype and Viber.
Mm.
You can see them face to face, right? Unlike the earlier years that text only,
Just
right?
pictures.
Yeah,
Mm. So, what made you stay in that warehouse company?
I got friends. So, I always have a mantra that I need to be comfortable on my workplace because I spend most of my waking hours at work.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're comfortable at work and the pay is good, you stay there. But let me tell you, so after I went to vacation, right? I got married. Uh, so when I came back, that's where the company was on the process of merging. So my boss back then, he said, "Oh, I can't take you in." So because we're in the process of merging, and who knows who's gonna stay or who's gonna leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
But before I arrived home, my supervisor back then in this warehouse phoned me and said, "Hey RJ, I heard that you're back and congratulations that you're married now. So I heard that you're looking for a job. It's the same company but different facility.
Mm.
So I'm just wondering if you're interested in working in my warehouse." So from dry warehouse, he offered me a job as a order selector in a refrigerated frozen warehouse.
Ooh.
In the summertime, it's good. So he said, if you take the offer, I'm gonna give you the rate that you have before, which is a good money back then,
Mm.
and it's up to you to decide. You can take a look in the facility. It's summertime when I came back, right? If you want to visit, just bring your winter jacket.
No way.
Yeah, because it's a refrigerated warehouse. So okay, I bought my jacket. I can't say no. I can't say no to my boss because I don't want to work in a warehouse, in a cold warehouse. So I have to say no in a nice way that won't offend him
Of course.
because he's a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
So what I told him, hey Scott, I want to try something new. You know what I mean? I want to try something like an office job. Do you have
Mm.
anything like that? Because I was close with him. He said, no, that's a hard thing. So I can't I can't give you the job, but I will try. He said, I will try. So okay, he have my number, and I waited for the bus. It's an hour and a half drive, right? It's an hour and a half commute going to my uncle's house because when I first landed again, I stayed in my uncle's house.
Mm.
And he said, before I arrived on the last leg of my trip, because it's 3-part ride, he said, "Wait, hey RJ, I just opened a position for you.
Mm.
It's a clerical job." So okay, because I know he just opened a position because we're over my there's too many people
Mm.
doing the same job, and I know because he knows how I work. He gave me a try, but he said, "I can only give you this job, but you have to start from the very beginning." which is $15. And I say, okay, it's a new experience, and it opened a lot of window of opportunities for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed there. After 7 months or 8 months, I got promoted as a team lead, which I wanted from the very beginning,
Mm-hmm.
which was my position back then, back home. It's not a supervisor, but it's a team lead. Eh, almost there, you know. And I stayed there for 2 years as a lead hand.
Mm.
And then one of the supervisors from that frozen warehouse went to head office. And he is the supervisor for logistics. Before he left, he told me, if there's an opening, I will definitely take you in. So I waited 1 year because, yeah, who knows, right? I mean, I just take it like uh, it's just a promise. Like, I don't believe in promises, right? Unless until you give it, or you tinupad mo,
Mm-hmm. You fulfill it.
you fulfill it, I won't believe it, right? It's just promise. Okay. Eh. After a year, he phoned me. He said, "Oh, I have an opening for you. Are you interested?" And I said, "Yes. Why not? Right? Good pay. It's a new playing field, right? So I'm on the big game now, brother. So, right? It opened a whole lot of windows. Like in a warehouse, you only deal with people within.
Mm-hmm.
When I was on the shipping receiving, I dealt with the drivers. But if you are in the head office and in the logistics office, you deal with the inside people. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? With the buyers, with the vendors, suppliers, anyone. And it's whole new game. So yeah,
Oh, congratulations.
I was in the company, same company since 2011 up to July of 2020 with the same company. I had to, yeah,
What happened there? Why up to
I
July?
quit.
Okay.
So I quit because there's too much pressure in the grocery. Like pandemic hit, right? And you know, if you could recall, shelves are empty, right? All shelves are empty. The pressure is in the logistics world. The buyers will pound you. Where's my product? Where's my product? We need to store. We need to supply our stores. We need to get this product in. But again, pandemic, man. What can
Yeah.
I do? That's the first round of pandemic, and everyone's scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's super pressure. At first, I was just sending resume. I just wanted to talk to someone. That's my hobby. I always send resume to opening just to test the water.
Yeah.
If I am still a good candidate, right? And to talk to HR as well.
Mm.
Because being in a company for almost a decade, your interpersonal skills will be lessened. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah, because you get comfortable. But have you
But
found a
yeah,
job now?
oh yeah, I was
Okay.
with the new company since July of
Mm.
2020.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but since March 2020, we were working from home, even from the old company, right?
Mm.
So I just switched laptop or switch username, but I'm on the same location. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's funny.
That's yeah. It's hard. It's hard working from home because My kids are there. My wife is there because
Mm-hmm.
my wife's only working part time, right? And she will ask me, "Hey, you on break? Cook some lunch, please." So double job.
Like, no, 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 I'm at work. I'm working.
Yeah,
I should not be cooking for you.
yeah,
That's funny, man. Thank you for those
that's true.
stories. That's a great story.
Yeah.
Um, so we're getting there, but I have a few more questions. In what ways do you think migration has made you a stronger person?
Ah, so back then, I in the Philippines, I was strong already. They call me acero because I was hard. Tough as steel. Acero is a steel.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, I was working in credit collection, and there are delinquent accounts. Delinquent accounts in the Philippines is quite different here in Canada, right?
Tell the listeners why.
Oh, one story that I can't forget is one of my collectors, my field collector. We went to a what you call that notorious place.
Mm-hmm.
One of one of the notorious place in Pampanga, and we have to repossess a motorcycle.
Oh boy.
You know, so my collector said, "Let us go to this place because the customer frequent that area." So we went there. We uh, we waited. So we found the guy. The chase was on. So we were chasing the
Ooh.
guy. So my collector he cut him, and then the customer went behind his jacket, and he's on the form that he's gonna get his gun.
Mm.
And my collector said, "Okay, get your gun, and I will put a hole on your head, sir. Go get the motorcycle. I got this." So okay, I rode the motorcycle, went back to the branch, and I asked him, "Do you really have a gun?" And he reached out to his jacket and he showed me a piece of ball pen. And I told him, "What the fuck? What are you thinking, man? Are you trying to get us killed?
Mm.
You are armed with a pen?"
Mm-hmm.
He said, "It's just a matter of doing the first move."
Mm-hmm.
And it
What?
worked.
Obviously, but what happened to the guy when you grabbed the motorcycle? He just back up.
Oh, yeah, because
Mm.
there's two of us, one of him, right?
Yeah, yeah. But
So,
still, he,
yeah,
he might have a gun.
probably, or a knife, who knows?
Yeah,
So, yeah,
that's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing the story.
yeah, lots of adventures in fields in the Philippines. So, that's one of those.
For sure. So now you love living in Canada.
So, yeah, back to the question that what made me stronger.
Yeah.
You're meeting new, lots of people, different races, different culture, different backgrounds, right? You can't, you can treat everybody lower than you
Mm.
because who knows what their previous life before Canada was, right? You know what
Mhm.
I mean? So you have to treat them with respect. But again, some of those people, they don't think like you.
Mhm.
They still living on their past, like you know. So you have to toughen up. Like I always, just smile and just talk to them. Like I always believe that if you treat them nice, they will treat you back nice,
Mm.
right?
Sure.
Yeah, it works most of the time because that's how I deal with my customers back then. When they're delinquent, I always talk to them, try to help them. What's going on,
Mm.
right? But most part, it won't. You just have to suck it up, move on.
Yeah, exactly. So you said that you love living in Canada now.
hmm
And what are those few things that you love about living in Canada?
Well, if you go to places, lots of park here, beautiful places. In Calgary, we're just only a few hours drive to Rockies in Banff. It's a beautiful place. Lots of free. It's free. Like I always go there with zero cash on my pocket, but a full tank of gas. Because you just have to grab food on your counter, on your fridge, drive, done, right? Because I have those annual pass for national park, and it's relaxing.
Yes.
When I was single and I was driving already, I just go to Kananaskis area. It's a provincial park, and just drive around. The scenery is beautiful. Yeah, that's one thing. Another thing is medical expenses. It's free. A couple of years ago, I was frequenting the doctor, because I feel something, and I undergo a lot of tests. If we were in the Philippines, it will bankrupt me.
For sure.
But here, free.
Yeah, you just
The
go home
medication
now.
is, and then the medication is covered by the insurance. When my wife gave birth to my second child, we didn't pay anything, right? So speaking of medical, we went back to the Philippines January of 2020. My eldest suffered a diarrhea, and we check into hospital. Initial down payment is 10,000 pesos. That's roughly around $500,
Whoa.
right? So shoot, I don't have money because I'm not used to bringing money. Right? We can go out here without money, right? But we have card, plastic money, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so we spent there 3 days, and guess how much we paid just to be discharged? It's around 50,000 pesos, roughly
Whoa.
$1,200. 1,200.
What the hell did they do? They give you a bag of cocaine?
I don't know.
Holy shit.
But good thing my insurance company covered it.
Okay.
So I didn't pay a dime.
Yeah. You're right, man. So I like testing my immigrant guest with this question. So if you have become financially secure, you don't have to worry about anything. Would you move back to the Philippines, or you still stay in Canada?
If I have lots of money to spend, I would stay there. Buy an island, why not? Right? Or buy a huge farm, why not? I always dream of sustainable living. I don't want to pay for anything. Wind power, solar power, plant my own food, take care of my own animals, right? So if I have lots of money, I would stay there.
That's
but
awesome.
I don't. So I'm staying here.
Someday you'll have it.
I'm gonna be staying here until my kids are older.
That's awesome. All right. I think we're there, but do you have any last remarks for the listeners?
Thank you for having me. And I would like to invite everyone to check my Facebook page, RJM Kids Mansion 184, and my YouTube channel, the same name, RJM Kids Mansion 184. On Instagram as well. Same name.
That's awesome. Again,
And please support my friend here on his channel. He's a really nice guy. I like him.
thank you.
I'm only intending to talk to you for 15 minutes, but I enjoyed talking to you. So we're past 5 minutes after an hour.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the podcast, RJ.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Take care.
Again, RJ, thank you for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for listening. This is Aaron Deliosa for An Immigrant's Life. I'll see you guys later.